Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here, and in today's video I'll be showing you the updated version of the dashboard, which will release later this year on the Series X console, as well as the other consoles. We'll get into that. But as of today, August 25th, 2020, Xbox has released a test build of the new dashboard to Alpha Insiders and Alpha Skip Ahead Insiders, which I am a part of that program, meaning I got my hands on some of these new features. The idea behind this is that all of these updates will eventually come together in a beautiful package for everyone in the general public later on this year when the new console, the Xbox Series X, releases. This will be the dashboard that will be on there, but it will also go on to the older generation of Xbox One consoles, and you'll also see a lot of these changes being made to the PC and the mobile space so that it unifies all of the experiences between Xbox platforms. I will leave a link to the article detailing all of these changes in the YouTube description down below. Now, one of the major things they talked about was speed. It's supposed to be 50% faster on startup and a third faster when returning to home from a game or launching back into a game. And additionally, the dashboard is supposed to take up 40% less memory. I've done a little bit of testing and I haven't had great speeds on the dashboard so far, but I would imagine that is because it's an early build, and hopefully we see that speed increase down the line. A snappier and more responsive dashboard is definitely something I can get 100% behind. Now, the first thing you'll notice is the dashboard background. Mine isn't all that fun, but I'll show you what Major Nelson's looks like on screen now, and you can see that there is a dynamic moving background. Now, I'm not sure if this is only on the Series X console, but I could not find it in my personal build, and I couldn't find any information about how to access it. And additionally, if we switch back to my dashboard, you'll notice that if I launch a game like Battletoads and we'll quickly go back to the dashboard, I will now have a Battletoads background behind it. And if we load up, for example, Hyperscape, and I go back to my home, I will now have a Hyperscape background behind my tabs here. So that's one of the other changes they have made as well. Now, if you actually open up the guide here, you'll notice that the tabs at the top have switched. A lot has changed, a lot has kind of stayed the same. There used to be 8 tabs at the top here, but now there are only 6. Some of the tabs have been joined. For example, parties and chats used to be 2 different tabs. Now they've been joined into one. And additionally, people looking for group, it's kind of been simplified. They said that their goal here was to simplify the dashboard for new users, but also make it more usable for old users. I'm going to show you really quick what one of those changes looks like now for what it looks like when someone is experiencing the dashboard for the first time. Maybe they'll go to achievement list and it says start playing to start achieving. And if you click in here, it now has a little update about what that means. There used to really be nothing on this screen, so it could be a little bit confusing. Additionally, if you go to the actual home part, and you'll notice that now at the bottom there are these 5 buttons. And one of the major buttons that has gotten a lot of updates is the notifications button. It'll group all of your notifications together based on achievements, Game Pass, games you've installed, messages from Xbox, party invites, game invites. All of that stuff will be put into this screen now, and it'll also be grouped based on what it's about or who it's from. This is actually a really cool change as well, in my opinion. Another thing is that you can customize the order of the tabs at the top. This was something you could always do, but something that they still encourage you to do. So for whatever reason you don't like the order, you might want to put the guide tab in the middle here, and that way you can snap to your parties or snap to your achievements very quickly. Now, some people have noticed that I have the achievements tab and not the game activity tab. This is because the game activity tab that I talked about in a previous video was an experiment that my main profile was never selected for. No changes have been made to that at the moment. Now, another thing you'll notice is rounded edges everywhere. Now, basically on the little tiles here, everything used to be a perfect box, a perfect square. And now it is rounded, which I prefer how it looks, although I don't know if it necessarily changes anything drastically. This was one of the things I noticed right out of the gate. Additionally, you'll notice that a lot of the fonts on the system have changed. So if you look here, for example, all of these fonts commonly used, Game Pass, all of these tabs here, They are now using a different font, which is supposed to be more easily readable or legible, I guess, for just quick viewing through the dashboard. If you want to look through these things quickly, it should be easier to read them. Additionally, I have found that if I go to my profile, that my gamer tag is actually written in a different font than it used to be. So expect new fonts to appear in different places as they change this. Another change they've actually made is if you go into a party with someone who's in there with you, obviously, and you click on their name, you can now individually adjust the volume of each person in the party. So I know a lot of people have been asking for this. Sometimes, you know, someone's really loud in the party, or sometimes someone's really quiet in the party. So you can kind of adjust each person individually now. Additionally, you may notice a happening now section, which takes up a pretty important spot on your people's or friends list. Just underneath, you can see who's doing what, who's in a joinable party, and maybe you'll find some friends to play along with. It does seem like Xbox has a pretty big focus on this new happening now section. Next, something I have seen in the past but not really experimented too in-depthly with is this Friends and Community Updates tab, which is now a separate tab. And this is supposed to be able to show you more updates from the games you play, things that your friends have actually shared, not just all of the achievements they have unlocked, but things that they actually go out of their way to share, stuff from clubs and popular activity. I have looked through here a few times, but never really found any content that stuck with me, and I'm not sure how I feel about these changes to the community tab. I feel like one of the best community tabs we've ever had was actually the one that the console originally launched with. I personally found the most engagement on my posts from that old tab, and since then I think we've been kind of walking backwards. I think the last time I actually liked the community tab was like in 2015 maybe. Now, last but not least, a very important thing is called profile themes, and profile themes are basically here on this screen. You can see these kind of like purple blobs behind me, and this was a theme that I selected on my PC. Now, it's not available on the console yet, but if you were to, in the future, go to Customize Profile, here, instead of Change Color, it would say something like Change Theme, and you could select different themes that you enjoy. Now, I'm going to go on my PC app. This is what you're seeing right now on screen, and you can actually go to your profile on the new PC app, go to Settings, and here you can manage your new profile themes. So I'll actually change the profile theme on my PC, and then we'll snap back to my Xbox, and you'll actually see that change happen. There are also some individual themes for games like Sea of Thieves, Halo, Minecraft, etc., etc. So you'll notice that I had those kind of purple blobs, and now I'm going to change it to this kind of pinkish purple sunset explosion. And if I go into my Xbox now, I reload that page, you should see that change to the same theme as I changed on my PC. And if I were to view a friend, or if a friend viewed my page, my profile theme would be shown to them as well, so they could get more of an idea of maybe my personality or what my Xbox looks like. And another big thing I really liked about this new update is that now you can sign in on multiple devices. So I have my main Xbox in my office, but I also have an Xbox in my kind of living room area where I often watch Netflix, and I have one in the bedroom where sometimes I'll turn on a YouTube video before bed. And one thing I really disliked was that if my Xbox was doing something and I signed in on a different console, it would always kick me out, which would suck if I was boosting, you know, some achievements in an online game. But now what they've done is you can sign in on multiple consoles at the same time, as long as only one of those profiles is actually playing a game. So one of your profiles can be playing a game, but your profile can be signed into as many devices as you want to do things like watch a movie or use an app, which personally I find extremely useful, so that I can leave my console running with a game in the background and go eat my dinner while watching something on Netflix on my console. So that's also an extremely welcome change. You'll also notice that these changes apply to the store as well. I talked in-depthly about this kind of new store, but this store has been being tested for quite a bit of time. I've talked about it pretty extensively, so I don't want to talk too much on it, but the same theme from the dashboard you will notice now on this store. Leave a comment about what you think about these new updates. Personally, I'm a pretty big fan of the overall overhaul of the UI, and I'm a big fan of them trying to make it faster and snappier. Additionally, I'm a big fan of the dynamic moving backgrounds on the dashboard, and profile themes seems pretty cool. I like how there's a unified experience between my phone, my PC, and my console now. I'm not crazy about the simplification of some of the tabs here. I think it got oversimplified to the fact where it actually got harder to use, in my opinion, but that's something I think I can live with in the future. I would like to know what you think, so leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share this video with a friend and drop a like. A super special thank you to everyone for supporting the show on Patreon, including William Seaman, Puffy Vins, and Elder Ghost. Hopefully I see you soon. Peace.